Are there any places that you love that just as soon as you get there, you can feel your blood pressure go down? That's me with Bucerias, Mexico. This is a little beach town just outside of Puerto Vallarta. Amazing beach, beautiful sunsets, great town, great food. And of course, I wouldn't be talking about it if it didn't also have great riding. So good, I bought a house here a few years ago to come visit myself and rent out to cyclists most of the year. Of course, Emily loves it down here too. So we're gonna show you our favorite rides, our favorite food spots, and why Bucerias has earned itself the status of cycling hotspot in Mexico. Hola! And as much as we love Bucerias for getting that blood pressure down, we love it for getting the heart rate up. Of course, there's a KOM I gotta go for while I'm here. One that I've wanted to do for a long time, but I've been too scared to attempt. Most of it's paved. I think there's cobblestone. And then there's gravel. In 36 miles, it goes up almost 10,000 feet. That's Haleakala level insanity. And let's hope my tires are wide enough.
All right. You're on La Bufa.
I'm Phil Gaimon. I was a pro cyclist for 10 years, racing all over the world. Now I'm retired, but I'm not done suffering on my bike, climbing mountains as fast as I can, and going on crazy adventures. I couldn't be the best at racing, and I'm definitely the worst at retiring. Welcome to Worst Retirement Ever.
It's an easy trip, just 2.5-hour flight from LA. You fly out here via Alaska Air. There's a ton of direct flights. Alaska does not charge a bike fee. So you take that money you saved on the bike fee, you can spend it on first class tickets, get yourself some extra legroom to keep your legs fresh, and enjoy some warm, gooey chocolate chip cookies. Nobody told me they were gonna have cookies. Then a 20-minute taxi trip from the PV airport to our lovely home here. I did a tour in a different video if you want to check that out. There's good road riding here, good gravel. I would recommend, even if you're just doing road, I would recommend bringing gravel tires, or at least wide tires, because this is Mexico. A road could turn, you know, like this. Fortunately, I'm a Paris-Roubaix veteran, as you probably know. The first ride we do here is the Valley Loop, right out the door in Bucerias. Gets real empty, real quick. We got our cornfields, go through a couple cute towns.
There's dairy farms.
Nice calves.
And a great view of the mountains in all directions. This whole route has a lot of trees on it. There's good shade for when it's warm out, which is always in Mexico. For the gravel folks, really you could do most of this ride on this dirt trail on the other side of the canal here. The valley ride doesn't quite dead end, but sort of, well, it ends for me at this river that loops around through Puerto Vallarta. There's a spot by the river. You could just order a coconut and drink right from it. I crossed it once in the back of a pickup truck, thanks to a kind stranger who didn't want me to get wet, but normally we turn around. You know this is a great ride because it's flat and I still love it.
We're gonna stop at Project Darwin, right?
There's a really cool coffee place on the way back to town.
Like an old farmhouse property with nice gardens, and I think they even put up an art gallery in the back. It's really lovely.
And really good food and coffee. Mexico does have a lot of stray wild dogs, so you gotta watch out for when you ride down here. Emily, how long would Creature survive in the wild?
God, not long at all.
She has food allergies. She gets all itchy. She scratch herself bloody. But the dogs down here are hardy.
Yeah.
They're not going to run into you. They're not that stupid. They wouldn't have made it this long. Of course, the common dog breeds down here are the Chihuahuas. The Chihuahuas are like Genghis Khan around here. Everyone's got a little Chihuahua blood in them.
Another nice ride is to Sayulita, a couple towns over, and a little more touristy, but a world-renowned surf spot if you're into that sort of thing. We did it with my friend Guillaume and Strava legend Rowan Barrett. Your stop in Sayulita is Choco Banana. Trust me.
It's like a 5-minute walk from the house to the beach. Every time we walk down this hill, you can feel the blood pressure dropping, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
Tranquilo. That's the word down here, tranquilo. The town, it's American friendly, but it's still authentic, right?
Definitely.
So I'd put it. Like the menus, you can get menus in English. A lot of people speak English, but it still feels like Mexico. The food's incredible down here. What's your favorite place to eat?
I just love stopping at the birria taco carts, like breakfast tacos, but not like the breakfast tacos that you find in the States or other places that have eggs. No, this is just this meat that's
well cooked out of a cart. My favorite meal in Mexico is breakfast, and that's no knock on Mexican dinner. I love Mexican dinner, but breakfast, there's just so many options. The chilaquiles, the machaca con huevos, huevos rancheros. There's a restaurant here called Tebajanes, which I first went to years and years ago, and it's just like someone's house and they put a curtain up to block the kitchen. There's just a chalkboard with the menu up. And the first time I went, I didn't know they were cash only. So as I was leaving, I realized I couldn't pay. And the guy was like, oh, just come back tomorrow and pay. And I was like, I'm flying out in an hour. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. And my American brain, like, it still blew my mind that he didn't like kidnap me to make me clean dishes or something. So I always go back there, and they do now take credit card. But there's good French food, there's good Italian food, if you're that kind of thing. Emily's just here for tacos.
And margaritas.
And margaritas, those are good too. You do not need a car when you come here. Bucerias is super walkable. You're better off without a car. You're just gonna leave it parked. Yeah. It's gonna be in the way. The streets in town are not super kind. They are cobbly and steep. You're lucky if they're paved at all. I just love all the flags up on the street here.
Wait, stop.
What?
Emily's plant corner.
Emily's plant corner. What do we got?
So here we have the bougainvillea, which is well known for its colorful bracts, which are not the flowers. The flowers, if you zoom in closely, are these little white pieces here that look like, well, flowers.
Bracts?
Bracts, B-R-A-C-T-S.
Never heard of that. Bracts, okay.
They come in red, white, orange, pink, all sorts of colors. They can grow as a bush, or they can be pruned to grow along fences as canopies on this sidewalk. They are thorny, however, so you do have to be really careful when pruning and walking through.
Oh yeah, hang on, that's a good thorn.
Its drought tolerance actually makes it ideal for warm climates year-round. So you'll see it a lot in South America, native to those areas. But also its high salt tolerance makes it common in coastal regions too. So a little bit of chisme about the bougainvillea.
Hang on, chisme is my favorite Spanish word. What does chisme mean?
Chisme means gossip.
Just gossip.
So it's like, what's cheese, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so what's the chisme about bougainvillea?
There was this French guy who was commissioned to sail around the world and find new territories for France. French guy's name was Mr. Bougainville. He took a naturalist with him, and the naturalist assistant was this woman named Jeanne Beret. Women were not allowed to travel or circumnavigate the globe. So she started documenting the plant life with Bougainville, and her boss first encountered the bougainvillea in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and then they discovered that she was a woman. And so the trade-off, in order for them to not kill her, was, we're talking serious stuff here, whether they were going to name this newly documented plant after Mr. Bougainville, hence Bougainvillea. So I don't know if, there was also rumored that her boss and her had a romantic relationship going on.
That's what I asked first. It got way darker than that.
So he helped in the bargaining for her life, naming the plant, and they just got left behind in Rio. And I don't know whatever happened.
Sounds like
the
a
story dropped off. So hopefully it was a romantic ending, but I don't know.
All right, it's too nice to sit inside, so I thought I'd do a quick bike check from the pool here. It's lovely. The ideal bike for this KOM is tricky, especially I haven't done it before, so I'll take you through my thought process. So the climb is in two parts. The bottom half, the first 90 minutes or so, that's a road bike climb. Skinny tires are definitely fastest. I had the KOM on that at an hour 21 on like a very light bike setup. After that, we get cobblestones, we get steeper gradient, but the featherweight bike is not suited for that. I'm gonna need wider tires. So we brought the aero bike, of course, frame protected by Invisiframe, just in case, you never know. I think for the 5% part of the climb, the Factor Ostro VAM will be the fastest. And then once the steep segment starts, which is called the Bufa, that part, I'm probably gonna wish I had a mountain bike. I'm gonna wish I had a super light bike at the beginning. I'm gonna wish I had a mountain bike or gravel bike at the second half. So this is gonna be an in-between. It's gonna be not ideal for either portion, but probably the best overall. That's my hope. So we've got the Factor Ostro VAM. We've got the Dura-Ace wheels, which I'm sure can handle the cobblestone parts. The disc brakes are critical down here. There's a lot of steep things. I want to be able to come to an emergency stop, no problem, just in Mexico as a rule. For gearing, the subcompact Dura-Ace cranks, cassette in the back. We've got a Silca wax chain, which will be good for the dust around here. You can just rinse it off, repeat. Tires was a tricky decision. I'm thinking that the 30C Kenda Valkyrie tires will be fast enough for the road portions, but still wide enough to get up the nasty bits. And we're gonna put like 55, 60 PSI in these. I brought the white Shimano S-Fire shoes because they look cool on camera. I might get dirty, I might be getting these dirty. The Pro Stealth carbon saddle, tried and true on cobblestones. Wahoo pedals, grams count.
All good vacations must come to an end. Or actually, this is a little break. It's KOM day, early start. Joel.
Hey, how are you?
This looks fine.
This is what we call Mexican.
This looks fine. No, we got Invisiframe on here. Do whatever you gotta do.
That means we can never damage your frame, right?
I mean, it can be damaged. It just can't be scratched. Let's not take an axe to it. Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm not even joking. It's fine.
So I've done a lot of videos with Joel over the years on my channel.
Joel of BC Bucerias. Joel, where are you taking me today?
Okay, well, we're going to go to a place called Colorado. Not Colorado in Colorado, US.
Yes,
but
I've been to Colorado.
Yeah. So we got about 10 kilometers to warm up before you get to Las Palmas. And then the actual whole segment begins. So
The whole, as we call it here, the whole enchilada.
the whole
Go on.
enchilada. And from Las Palmas to the top at La Bufa. And La Bufa is 2,600 meters above sea level. I've done it twice in my life. One time my bike shoe disintegrated halfway up to climb. And then I was like,
break it, disintegrated.
I know, like
It just
everything,
came
like
off.
the sole fell off. And then I was trying to like clip back in. I'm like, how come I can't clip back in? I was already delusional. And yeah, I couldn't go any further because I was on like 18 or 19% grade on cobble. And then I just waited for the car.
Is it cobble or dirt?
It's mostly cobble with a little bit of dirt.
Oh, I don't know if I feel better or worse. There was
Right.
traffic, so we took a detour, not really a road.
Joel, I got the Valley Loop
Yeah.
in this video. We've got the Sayulita ride.
Yeah.
What are your other favorites from Bucerias?
You know, right now I'm doing a lot of gravel and I love taking that crossing, which we did today. And then we go all along the valley floor here by the river. And then we cross back towards a place called El Colomo and circle back to Bucerias. That's probably my favorite ride.
So the ride we're doing today, you can do from Bucerias without a car.
So we would basically take the same route we did today, or we'd go to El Colomo and cross just up ahead here. Or the more epic one is go to Aguamilpa, cross the river,
Hang on, buddy.
and you do a big freaking epic climb up and over.
I don't need an epic climb before my epic climb. You know? I think La Bufa, I looked at La Bufa online. It looks epic enough.
It's epic enough, really it
I'm
is.
gonna pace my epicness.
I'm ready if you're ready.
We're ready.
All right, let's do it.
Follow behind you.
Let's do it. Segment starts right up there, so I'm going to do a little running start.
Give a pick.
So usually when I go for a KOM, I'm racing against the best times. For this one, I'm just here to show you the adventure instead of benchmark. The fastest time up this climb is over 3 hours by Ian Boswell, who is fast as hell, except I know he was just on a trip with Joel having an epic ride and not really going for the best time that he could do. So I didn't even use his time as a reference. Instead, I split up the climb into 2 parts. First was the part to San Sebastian, the village at the halfway point. I have that KOM from a previous trip at 1 hour 21. That part is 22 miles, 4,000 feet to climb. It's tricky to pace, very dynamic with some downhills. I try to save power for the steeper bits, stay aero on the fast parts. Also watching out for dogs.
Hey, buddy. Don't mind me.
And trying to enjoy the view. It's worth mentioning that this is a beautiful climb. This is a weekday and there's very little traffic. It's jungly at the bottom. There's this incredible bridge. There's a store stop with some pastries I'll not be enjoying today, but if you go, that's where Joel will take you. There's some agave fields, more on that later.
Gracias. You want water or are you just getting rid of it? Spot on.
Then a left turn towards San Sebastian. In a previous KOM attempt, I missed that turn, but this time I had it in my Wahoo, and I knew it anyway.
Hey,
How's it going, pal?
good times. I didn't miss the turn.
Towards San Sebastian, the road gets steeper in the last few miles. There's some cobblestone sections that are pretty tough, but the KOM on that part was set on 24C tubular tires. Cobbles are easier at speed, believe it or not. You go fast enough, you kind of just float over them instead of feeling each bump. And then sometimes you can find a smooth line. My previous KOM to San Sebastian was 1 hour 21 minutes. On this ride, knowing that I had a much tougher climb after it, I paced it slower at 1 hour 26, averaging 330 watts. That's still too fast. I was going to pay for that. Then some of that extra speed comes from a section of the climb that was previously cobblestone and is now paved. That gave me a few seconds.
I like the pavement here.
That's beautiful. A lot newer since the last time.
The aero bike, I'm sure, is faster for a 4% climb. That's a few seconds. I was wearing the short sleeve Starlight race suit because I wanted the pockets. instead of the long sleeve speed suit. I was also afraid it was going to be too hot. It was actually cold when we started. Anyway, that's a few seconds the other way. Hard to tell which setup was exactly faster. We're not in a controlled experiment here. We're on a bike ride. Finally, I got to San Sebastian, which is this beautiful old Spanish town. In the past, this is where I finished the ride and ate enchiladas. Today, that's where the hard part was just getting started. I zigzagged through the cobblestones in town a little bit. I did miss a turn because I wasn't watching the Wahoo close enough, so I had to turn around. That cost me a few seconds, but it wasn't going to matter. Oh. Once you get through town, La Bufa begins, and the cobblestones get ugly. It went back and forth between bumpy cobblestones and just dirt. Honestly, the dirt was better.
All right. You're on La Bufa.
I was hoping.
Yeah, I was like, please, let's see Phil. Let's make sure Phil's on La Bufa.
I tried to find better lines in the dirt next to the cobbles. It didn't work. La Bufa is almost 7 miles at 10% average. When I say average, there's some flat bits, meaning there's also sections at 20%. I knew there was going to be dirt and cobblestone. What I didn't know is that they'd be sharp, nasty cobblestones.
Yeah, even with his e-bike, my heart's racing. And I just try to keep one arm on the camera, one hand on the camera, one hand on the bike. I'm like 28% grade. A lot of people walk here. Phil's crushing it. Whew. Like, also altitude. A little short of breath up here. Nice fresh air. So beautiful. It's kind of like being in Northern California or something. That's what this La Bufa always reminds me of. Doesn't feel like where I live in Mexico. Oh,
You're a sick man.
And then remember before that I mentioned cobblestones aren't that bad when you take them at speed? You don't get much speed over 10%. I was maxed out in my easiest gear, and these were absolutely still hell. At one section, it was so steep that I just tipped over. I tipped over.
There we go.
Got it?
Yeah, kind of.
This is where a lot of people walk.
Yeah, no shit.
There's a couple minutes of walking. I felt better when Joel said that Ian Boswell had to walk that part also, but bring gravel or mountain bike shoes and pedals when you come.
3 miles to go. I can't walk that whole thing. All right. I'm glad I brought my white shoes.
No, I do not know what got on my camera lens. I've narrowed it down to drool, first endurance, my soul, or queso. The previous KOM for La Bufa was an hour 6, so my goal was to go under an hour. I was going to do that, but I'm still not super happy with how I paced this day. I should have gone a little easier up to San Sebastian. The power was decent at 272 watts for La Bufa, so I didn't totally fall apart once we got over 6,000 feet, but I could have used more power in the last hour. I had my high carb bottles, but I only had 2 first endurance liquid shots. I meant to bring 5. Early start, I knew I'd forget something. That didn't help. If I knew how bad the cobblestones were, I would have done wider tires. I could have put out more power if I didn't have to pick lines, but no matter what, I think I'm walking once. Total time to La Bufa, 2 hours, 26 minutes, average power 303 watts. That's about the same as Haleakala, 7,500 feet and 29 miles on this ride. Frankly, more of a challenge and adventure. I'm not talking shit on Haleakala, just I think Mexico is underrated and awesome.
300 meters?
I don't know, just keep going a little further. Just make sure you got it. That's it. Scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being hard.
That's it.
That's a 10.
There's nothing worse.
Have you ever gotten off your bike on any other climb?
Mauna Kea.
Mauna Kea?
This isn't as long, but it doesn't get any harder than that. Holy crap, you're insane. How did you find this?
I just came and rode it one day.
There's no right bike for that.
Yeah.
There's no pacing for that. There's no
No.
eating for that.
Yeah.
So from the end of I'm not even going to call that a road.
but you pay a guy a toll, he sells you a Coke, and then you can hike up this last little bit. I brought Hirachis. They're passing the test. I didn't know the hike was coming, but I'm not a 99%er, you know? I'm going to the top. Glutes be damned, and they are damned. Once we get up here, we swim or something, Joel?
That'd be kind of cool.
And this is the local agave.
It's called Lechuguilla.
Lechuguilla. The top is the Mirador, right? Down there, that's San Sebastian. We're way over there. You can see the ocean. Hard to show on the thing, but you can see all the little sky rises by the water. Joel, thank you for another completely insane climb. I can't believe how many times I got halfway up this and didn't go all the way to the top. And this will probably be the last, though.
Yeah, you're not going to come do Labu. It's kind of a one and done.
Yeah, box checked. I think it's okay. Well, you'll take folks up here. You'll do the BC Bucerias will do a guided tour. If someone is crazy enough to want to repeat that.
It's a custom tour. You just like request it and we'll help you plan it out. But you actually have to come prepared.
Yeah.
Right. Like I've had people show up and they're not prepared or weren't in the right shape.
Yeah.
They don't finish it.
Yeah.
So,
they didn't have Hirachis for the hike.
yeah, you need the Hirachis for the hike. And we can help you with, planning it out for sure.
I wouldn't do this one solo, put it that way. And also I wouldn't ride down. We're going to take the truck down.
It would suck riding down.
And Jay Chantel, thank you too. Thanks for driving and filming. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the 10-way tie for hardest climbs I've ever done. Can't say it's the hardest, but there's nothing harder than that. I just have to walk one time. One rule that we have is every day we're here, we make sure to touch the ocean, touch the sand at least one time. So we're going to end it standing right here in the water. Bucerias Bay is also, I'd say, top 5 sunsets, at least in my book.
Yeah, that's really beautiful here. Yeah.
Doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
The question I always get in the comments when I go to Mexico is it safe? The answer is I'm not going to pretend that there's no such thing as cartel or violence or whatever here, but it's also everywhere. I feel safer walking here at 10 p.m. than at home,
I
to
take
be
the
honest.
same precautions.
I feel fine riding solo as a cyclist. I have never been honked at in Mexico. I guess I want to say don't let negative media or social media tarnish your impression of Mexico. The people are great. The food is great.
The beach is as good as anywhere. Water's warm.
And it's close. So come visit, stay at our place, bring the family, bring the friends. We got separate units, so you got some space.
Bring the dogs.
Bring the dogs. We love dogs. There's a Mark Twain quote about traveling that I want to repeat here, but I'd butcher it. So I'm just going to put it on the screen. All right, I want to end it here.
Bien, hasta la próxima.
Adios.